Welcome to the show, to Time on the Couch with Coach D. I'm Coach D, and I'm excited for you to be here and join me today. My show is a platform for you to get information about personal empowerment. We talk about things like communication, resilience, mindset, and we throw in some entrepreneurship in there as well. Today, the show is really important, and it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I have a special guest here to help me talk about it. Today, we're going to be talking about friendships. Friendships, how to determine if they are healthy or toxic. And my special guest here to help me talk about that today is my dear friend, Letty Tejerina. Letty, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dee. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored that you asked me to be a part of it because we do have a very special friendship.
We do. And I remember asking you, I was like, Letty, I want you to be on the show. And you go, okay, you didn't even know what the show was going to be about.
I knew if you were involved, it was going to be good.
Because we have that friendship like that. So why don't you tell people how we met? And because it was like an unlikely kind of meeting.
Right.
And then here we are together. Go ahead and tell people how we met.
3 years later.
Right.
Still friends.
Oh my gosh, has it been that long?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. We met at a coffee shop. We have a mutual friend that had invited us to go to a coffee shop right before the Thanksgiving holidays. And he had Starbucks cards for all of us and gave us our little cards, and there was only one chair left, and you came and sat in it. And
I did.
We looked at each other, and we didn't know each other, and we just said, well, what are we going to talk about? And we had so many things to talk about.
We did.
And I invited you, I think, that day to go to a little play with me, and your husband came. And after, sometimes you just know when you're going to get along with somebody. And I think we both understood that because most of all, I knew that you liked fashion, and I had a little store at the time.
That's right.
And so right away you came to my store. So we both started working on, not working, but we both had something in common, our friend. But you loved fashion, I loved my store, and we became friends from there. You went on to model for us.
I did.
You went on to do great things with our beautiful merchandise that we once had, and we don't talk every day. But when we do, it's like we've talked the day before.
It is.
And I think that's one of the beauties of a nice friendship. You don't have to talk every day. You don't have to catch up every day. It just flows.
It just flows.
And we're so happy when we see each other. Can you believe we don't even take our cell phones out when we're together?
We don't. Isn't that great? It is so good. And at your store, I would just come and just sit. Because in Letty's store, she had a sitting area where people can just come and have coffee. So every time I came, I always brought you something.
Yes,
I brought you, a flower or a muffin or coffee.
I always look forward to your visits because it was going to be good.
And we would just sit down and just talk about things, and I think that's it's a missing art now, or that everybody's always talking about business and what they're going to do and how they're going to make money and things like that. And we would just talk about life.
Exactly. And everybody has a story, and there's always something going on in each other's lives. And so, it's nice just to give your full attention to your friend.
Yeah.
And listen to what she has to say, or talk about what you need to say. Sometimes you have the floor, sometimes I have the floor. But we understood that about one another, and we still understand that, And they used to do that a lot more. I remember my mother having friends over for coffee time, and that's kind of what it was, a little socialization. And my store was very well known for that. People would come in and do that a lot because we don't make the time to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I mean, I did care if they bought something, but not really. I loved the tell me what's going on in your life. What are you doing today? How are your children?
Yes.
Where are you going on vacation?
You were really good at that. You were really
just
getting
need to
engaged.
Talk about something,
you had a really nice way of when people came in, you made it about them. It's like, what's going on? And you
Yes.
remembered. You remember the last time when people came in and what their
Yes.
stories were. You go, well, what happened with that? How is this person doing? So that's why people went there, Letty, because
Yes.
you was just such a great place. I mean, the fashions were amazing too.
Thank you.
But they came for you. They came back for you.
Yeah, I feel that way too, and I really loved it. But one of the things that I was taught a long time ago was when you have a friendship and you care about that friendship, and they say something, it's the opening of the door. They say something, and then you respond, do you want to talk about it? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't want to talk about it, but a lot of times they do want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that opens the door for them to say what they want to say or not say, you know? So I like to ask that question because, you know, you can open it or not, and you can talk about serious things or just, you know, casual things.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I have a friend, I care about what's happening in their lives and in their families. And it's important to me, you know, and I want that person to know that because I have a lot of acquaintances. We all have a lot of acquaintances.
Yeah.
But my friends, it's a small circle.
It's a small circle. So let's talk about that because we talked about how easy it was for us to just go from just meeting somebody. Thank you, Mike, by the way, for introducing us.
He's still our friend.
Mike is still our friend, but we don't hang out as much as you and I do.
Right.
And,
well, mostly because he has a girlfriend.
And busy selling hugs. So,
busy.
Mike Acquisto, we love you.
Yes.
So we're just a big shout out to you and thank you for this introduction and bringing people together. So Mike is one of the people that he's connector of people, and that's one of the things that you do too. And I know that when we're talking, you know, a lot of times you're trying to figure out, you go, well, you're trying to come up with solutions. Sometimes you try to help people with solutions, and that's one of the things I love about you, Letty, is because you're so caring. And I know you're so giving, and sometimes you have given to people who are not deserving of the kind of friendship or the kind of person that you are because they have taken advantage of you. And I know that hurts, and we've all been through this before.
Absolutely.
I've been through it before, and
because we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there are people that they're just on the prowl the whole time. You know, what can I get from her? And what can I get from her? Emotionally, monetarily, whatever the case may be, you know.
Yeah.
But I try not to be, you know, I mean, I'm cautious of that because those people are everywhere. But it's so much better to be a nice friend.
Some people don't know how to be a friend.
That's very true.
And that's what the show is about. It's about knowing when you're in a healthy relationship, which we are in definitely a healthy relationship. You invited me to go on vacation with you, so I'm just like, I must be doing something right with Letty to be able, for the invitation like that was such an honor. And but some people, they just make you feel bad. So how do you know if you're in a healthy relationship or a toxic relationship, which is what we are talking about today? So you have heard right now what a healthy relationship sounds like. It's a reciprocal relationship where both people are feeling mutually respected.
Yes.
We're both feeling heard, and we laugh and we feel good being together. And when we get together again, it's just this natural flow. So a toxic relationship, what is that like? What is some of that you've experienced?
Well, you know, a toxic relationship, you worry about it all the time. And you shouldn't have to worry about your friendship. A toxic relation is, ooh, I don't want to see her. Ooh, do I have to go with them? Ooh, she's going to probably borrow money from me. Ooh. You know, it's those kinds of things. Or you look at the phone and you're like, oh, it's her again.
Yeah.
You know what? Get out of that relationship. you know, you don't have to worry about it. There's too many other people that are so wonderful, you know, and you know, toxic people, they're manipulative and they have a plan. And this is not their first time that they do it.
I think that some people don't even know that they are toxic. That's just the way that they are. But it's up to us to realize if this relationship feels good.
Right.
And you're right, you say you worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to share with you and with you out there a relationship that I was in that I just had to end it, and how I ended it, and I didn't know what to do about this. There was a girl that we worked together, and we had some common ground. We were both black women in these management roles out of this group of white men. So, you know, like finds like. So we found each other and we had that commonality. Mm-hmm. As the relationship went on, I realized that I was doing everything for her. Everything was at her house. We would plan something and she would be an hour late. Or I found myself walking her dogs.
Oh no.
I know. I was just like, why am I walking somebody else's dog? And she was very needy, and the way she came to me, it wasn't like she didn't ask me for things. It was like, I wish I had somebody to walk my dogs for me.
Guilted you into things.
Yeah, and then
you being the kind-hearted person that you are, you said, "Oh, I can do that for you." She knew exactly how to play you.
She didn't ask, and that's the thing. When people don't ask, and you're nice and kind-hearted, you just go, "Oh, I can do that." And then you find yourself doing it all the time, and then it builds this silent resentment.
Exactly.
And then when you get home, you're just like, I can't believe I just did that.
And you want to confront it. But a lot of times we're so afraid. You know, I will tell you, as I have gotten older, one good thing about getting older.
There's a lot of things about getting older.
One good thing is I have learned to confront that. You know, we as women, we're nurturers, and we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and we don't want to confront things. But you know what? I have gotten older, and when things are not just right, because it affects me physically.
Yeah.
I put a stop to it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like me, I don't like you. That's all there is to that one.
But what if you stop calling and stop going and they keep calling you? What do?
You look at the phone and you go, block.
Well, okay, so that's one way you can do it, but really,
well, probably the best way, is to say, I'm not really comfortable. I'm not really happy the way this relationship is going.
Yeah.
I don't really think like you,
Yeah.
And I think that, maybe you should find another friend.
Have you ever seen?
I've never told anybody that.
Well, with this particular person,
I think it's understood when it happens, and you just
sometimes
have to
the person
avoid them.
keeps coming back because they don't know, because this is how they treat everyone. This is, that sense of entitlement and being okay with taking things from people, and for them it's normal. For the other person, it feels used. I felt used. So what I did, and maybe this is something that you can do too, is I actually said, this isn't working for me. I said, I never feel good when we're together. I do all these things for you. And she was like, she had no clue. And I was like, you're always late. You never do these things for me. And every time we're together, it's always about you. It's always about you. And I was like, this just doesn't feel good to me anymore. So she says, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and fix it. And we just gradually, I stopped taking the calls, and I stopped showing up, and I stopped doing those things I normally do. And then we gradually grew apart.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And that's what I wanted. And I felt relieved.
Yes.
I felt relieved after that. But then there are some people that need to get out of toxic relationships right away.
It's a very, very hard thing for a lot of people to do. You just
lost a friend.
Yes, well, first of all, I'm single, so I don't have time for things that are not good for me in anything that I do. I have learned to make choices, which I didn't know how to do because I wanted to make everybody happy, and I didn't want to be the one to, ruffle feathers or anything. But I have learned now that, my time is important. And I have a value, and we all have a value. And if you don't respect it, and you're not kind, and you're not your true self, let's move along, because there's a lot of people that want to be my friends.
So if a relationship is hurting you in some way, if you are feeling like if there's resentment in some way, then the relationship is toxic. If it's always about them, the relationship is toxic. If you're not getting what you want, and if the person is critical, they're putting you down.
Oh, yes. I think, I recently had a very dear friend pass, and there was a lot of questions about this passing, and we all got to thinking about it, and I really felt bad because I was a friend, but I was like a butterfly friend, I think. This is what I call it. Just flying around and only listening to the good things and the bad things, and as I've come to find out, there was very toxic things going on around her. And this is an educated woman, a very beautiful woman, a wonderful person, but she couldn't get out of that toxic relationship. And I feel so bad for anybody out there, because I know, people stay together for lots of silly reasons. And they stay together for the kids, for the money, for the prestige. What are the neighbors going to say? And I have never thought those things. I have always thought, you know what, girl? That money, prestige, neighbors, they're not with you. They're not in your mind. And we need to be strong people. We need to give out the vibes that, you know what? You can't tell me those things. You cannot make me, you do not have the power to make me feel this way. And to be strong enough to confront it, deal with it, and if you need to move on, you need to move on.
And some people need help with that. So I'm going to just put it out there. If you are in a relationship and you don't know how to get out, there are programs all over the city, all over the country, where you can reach out. There's hotlines. This is in like toxic relationships for like marriages and romantic relationships. Am I trying to say those kinds of things? But also, there's nothing really set up for friendships for you to go to. So find someone else that you trust and say, hey, does this sound right? And you can reach out someone like me, who's skilled at helping people with figuring things out. When you come to me, I don't give you an answer, I help you figure out your own answer. So at this time, we're going to take some questions. I got a lot of things from our social media. Let's see what we got. So we're going to I'm going to read these, and we're going to answer these questions together.
Okay.
So the first one is from Dawn, and she says, good friends have tough conversations and still be true friends. Which is true, right? You can say, I don't like those shoes.
Right.
And you can say, really? Whatever.
I thought they were wonderful.
It's like, that's not really tough, but just have the tough conversations about what's bothering us, or what's bothering us about the other person, not to come out in a hurtful way, but just have those true conversations and still be true friends. And she says, how do we as women have these tough conversations without being offended?
Ooh, that's a hard one, because I never ever want to hurt anybody's feelings, But when you have a true friend, say like us, and you see something about me, I would I would hope that I would say, Dee, thank you for sharing that with me. I really didn't mean to offend you. Can we work on this? I really, I think you have to talk about it. I think you have to talk about it, and I think that you have to be there for one another. And I think when you're really true friends, it works.
Right, and that's what you have to know, I think, Dawn, is that, how can we as women have these conversations? You have to know who you're talking to.
Yes.
Is it a friend? Because if it's a true friend, they're not going to be offended. They're going to want to understand.
Right.
The people that are offended are probably not your friends.
Exactly. Agreed.
Okay, so the next part of it says, how do we as women quit competing and start uplifting? Why is it when money is involved, there's typically no real relationship? Ooh.
That's a can of worms.
Oh.
I think that's a competition friend. There's some people that you're your friends, but they're always in competition with you.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
too
not a
old
friend.
for that. I'm just too old for that. I don't have time for those types of friends, really.
But what about the people who are not, who are the people under 40?
Well, you have to be happy for your friends. If your friends
Yes.
are doing well,
Yes.
oh, I'm so happy for you. Not, oh, why is she doing that?
Yeah.
Or, oh, I should have had that. No.
Yeah.
If you have a friend that you love or a friend that you really respect and like, wow, I'm so happy for you.
And be genuinely happy for them. And it's not a
Exactly.
competition.
It's
You know what?
not.
Competition comes from a place of lack. Right? When you think there's only so much good out there. And if your friend has something, that means that you can't have it.
Right.
That it's not true.
Exactly. I agree. It's really, really hard to have a friend that thinks that they have to be that way with you because it's not worth it.
Just be you and be okay running your own race. That's what I tell people.
Yes.
Be happy for people because you know what? We come in this world alone. Even twins, they're born one at a time. They come out one at a time. And run your own race. Be happy for other people when they win because we all get to win. We all get to win. Oh, the idea of money when money is involved? Okay.
It's so hard.
Yeah, when money is involved, because I had a friendship end badly last year because I thought we were friends, but the other person saw me as a way to help them make money. And when I stopped doing that, the friendship ended. And I was really upset because I thought it was more than just that money making.
You were upset that she used you, or you were upset that she's out of your life?
I was upset that, I don't think she used me. I think that was the relationship because we were in this business together. But I also believed that we had more than just the business.
I see.
I thought that we were friends, that even if the business part of us doing together ended, that we would still be friends, and it didn't.
That's
it didn't.
hard.
I left that business, and that friendship just shut down, which told me a lot.
Right.
It was just like, wasn't my friend anyways.
Right.
So that's when you just move on from that.
It's tough when money's involved in anything. I have found that money and anything outside, it just doesn't go hand in hand.
Don't do money with your friends.
No kidding.
Don't
And
do
if
money.
you
Don't loan money. Just don't do it.
And if you do, expect to never get it back.
Don't do
Because-
money and friends.
Yeah,
Just
money
don't
and
do
friends,
it.
just do not cross. Pay your own way, and I'll pay my own way,
Yeah,
and we'll always be friends.
do it. We'll always be friends. Just like I'll help you figure out a way to get money, but it's not going to be from me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's one of my policies, and I know even with family, I just go, my husband and I, because we got into some doozies of fighting over us loaning money to people. So now we just say, my husband and I don't do that anymore. We don't loan money to friends and family.
And it's amazing how they find it somewhere else.
Yes.
They find it somewhere else, and they just move right along, you know. There's some people that are, that's how they survive, that's how they live. And I understand that, but I'm not willing to have those kind of emotional vampires in my life.
So you got to watch out for them.
You do, because they're everywhere, and they're men and women, you know. You have to just look out, because friendships is such a valuable thing, you know, that you have that person that you can count on.
For sure.
It's really important.
So here's a question going in that same vein. Do you think your definition of friendship is universal? Like, is it the same for everyone?
I don't think it's the same for everyone, but I think it could be different in different places of the world. How our friendship is may not be the same in France, or I mean, I think it's pretty universal, but maybe not completely.
And I think you can have different levels of friendship. You know, you can have that person that you can just slide into that cozy, good feeling anytime, and then you can just have acquaintances.
Exactly.
You know, that
and
you do things with.
You don't have to let everybody in.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to let everybody in, and you don't have to have a million friends, you know. I mean, I can count my friends on 4 hands. My friends' friends.
For real.
Yeah.
Christine says, can a friendship grow when the roles might have changed from what they were in the beginning?
Oh, why don't you answer that one?
Can a friendship grow when the roles might have changed from what they were in the beginning? You know, I believe, and this is my spiritual part of me coming out, that some things are forever and some things are for a season.
Absolutely. You know, I so agree with that, Dee.
Yeah.
Because I've found it, you know. There are people and relationships in your life that are good for that time period.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I lived in California for about 5 years, and the people that I met there, the things that I did there, the way I felt there was perfect for that time.
For that time.
And I'm away from that life now, but I remember that life as so wonderful for me at that time.
At that time, it's the season.
Yes.
And the people associated with that season, sometimes they fall away.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they fall away. And sometimes it's like any relationship. So we are almost out of time, but what I want to do is talk about really quickly to connect with me on social media. My Facebook page that you're on right now, if you want to get more tips on how to grow in your life, tips on entrepreneurship, tips on communication, resilience, that's what I do. Also, connect with me on Instagram, and I am really growing my YouTube page. So go there and subscribe, because that's where the longer videos are going to be. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Relief, CBD oil. So Relief has changed my life, has changed, and you know how my daughter used to be before she started CBD oil.
And I'm an advocate for you too, because you know, people that I see that could use and benefit Relief, I always tell them, and I give them your phone number and to look up your stuff on, you know, your different social media pages, because I have seen the difference.
In it, right?
What CBD oil does, especially for your daughter.
Yes.
You know, I just cannot even believe how the change has been.
New Jasmine, the anxiety has just gone.
Oh,
and then just for me, with
incredible.
how I feel every day with taking it. If you want to know more information about Relief, just look in the comments below, or you can go to tinyurl.com/buy-relief. And that information will be in the comments below. And we're going to sign off. Time flies when you're having fun with friends, right?
Yes. Dee, I want to thank you for having me on as a special guest. It's been my pleasure to be here with you today.
Anytime. So we're going to go have lunch. You guys go have lunch. Thanks for tuning in with me for Time on the Couch. And Letty, my guests, say this with me. I'm going to have you say this with me.
Okay. I know that you are capable of great things.
Let's build success together.